stretch of road between Colombia and Panama that, well, there's no stretch of road, that's the problem. There is no road you can't get to. You either have to fly or you take a boat. And after trying to get our bike to Argentina in the first place, we were not going to try to fly. That was not an option. So we had to take a boat. Now there's two ways you could take a boat. You could go to the Caribbean side on the Atlantic, which is the more traveled side. Or you could go to the Pacific side where nobody goes, except for giant freight cargo ships and drug cartels. That's all that's over there.
Most of the big activities is on this side, yeah.
We're curious.
So this is the cargo boat that we got the first leg of it on. It took us a total of 2 weeks to get through.
So we were on this boat for, it should have been a 24-hour trip. We were on it for 60.
So they had to help us across the planks there, just taking the bike across.
So you can imagine where we're going to. There is no road to get there, so everything has to somehow get there.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Things get on, everything comes on. You know?
So that was the easy part of the trip. Then from there, we had to catch these little lancha boats, which are just like rowboats with a motor in the back. This one wasn't so bad. This is pretty good. So now we're going even more into the remoteness, though.
Yeah,
and then here, as leaving that place, we were trapped there for 9 days waiting for a boat.
Obviously, being foreigners, they had us. You know, they knew where we were, what we were doing. So, because because they were watching out for us to, not disappear. And,
every day they're like, "Did you check in with the police?"
Yeah, check in, please.
But nobody wanted to take us in their boat. So we had to take this boat out into the middle of the ocean, and we were going to catch another boat that was coming from somewhere else, trade boats in the middle of the ocean, and head to Panama.
So this video here,
monsoon.
It's storming outside the ocean. I mean, it was just rolling all over the place. And I take Dramamine, so I need it. I don't know if she did enough, but I do.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look, there's a boat right there that we have to rendezvous with. It's smaller.
It's smaller. And then we get there, and we discovered that the motor's not really working. I got 2 spark plugs out in the rain, like trying to come on, man.
We're supposed to take this thing further up away from safety and up the coast. It was just really uncomfortable. But at this point, the adrenaline was rushing so fast. They're like, "Oh, let's just go, just do it."
At this point, I was thinking, if that bike goes into the ocean, whatever. I just want to live today. That's all I care about.
So they were transporting back and forth a fruit called borojo. But we hope it's fruit and not, sacks of money, other things.
They would have had bigger boats.
That's true.
Yeah, much bigger boats.
Right. And so, at this point, we're just trying to transfer things back and forth, in order to get on the other boat.
Yeah, so this boat, it was full of water. There's the famous engine that was not working at all. He's scooping water out, trying to stay afloat. Several times the motor was off and we're out in the middle of the ocean and the boat's just like a cat toy going around.
It took us all day.
We got there just as the sun went down.
So it was one of those really, wouldn't do it again type of situation. We thought Denali was on.
Now we know what the Pacific coast of the Darien Gap is all about. We don't need to do that again. Panama! So we're in Panama now. I'm very happy to be on the North American continent. Yeah, I had to see the canal. Very, very cool.
So, Costa Rica is so tropical.
We're sponsored by Adam and Eve. That leaf is so huge and so green, and within like 30 seconds it shriveled up once you pick it from the bush. It needs a lot of water.
But yeah, it was just so humid too, and so hot, and gosh, you ride for a little bit, and you're just sweating so much. And so, it's just, you can't drink enough water to keep hydrated. But it was.
The best part of going through that area, though, there's just all this fruit on the side of the road. You just stop over and you're like, all right, I'll buy a papaya. And like the smallest one they have was 2 kilos.
4 or 5
so we're like,
pounds.
Okay. So we chopped the 2 kilo, and here's your kilo, here's my kilo. Sat down with a spoon and ate papaya.
And after that, we didn't go too far.
But it was really good.
Yeah, this is going to be...
This is Honduras. So Honduras has road construction necessary.
So we think that, you know, because the parts that are good, they are good, they're really smooth and stuff, so they must have been construction like maybe 10, 15 years ago, but they used poor quality material that kind of like just, you know, popped out and stuff. And so there's all these potholes all over the place. And so you're trying to, like, you know, gain some speed, but then you can't because you get slowed down by this. For me, what happens is that because of my tunnel vision, I'll ride down, I'll see this thing, I'm like, oh, shoot. And then I'll veer to the left, and boom, oh, shoot. Right into that one.
So we actually, at one point, we just heard this boom, and then
yeah,
we bent the rim.
Yeah. I mean, I had to go and get like the, you know, like the Leatherman and try to like bend the rim back out in order to get it going and stuff. And
we actually rode on that rim back to Phoenix.
Yeah. And what we found out too, because one of our friends worked on the bike in Phoenix here, when we took the rear wheel off, the axle was broken.
Yeah.
So we think
he's like, here's your axle, and here's the other part of your axle.
Yeah, so it may have broken during Honduras when we were going through all this stuff here.
That was a pretty big thing.
Yeah. But,
alright, so this is in Mexico. At this point, unfortunately, the photos are so much more infrequent because look at this road, we're like, going north, going north. There's just one track. Oh yeah, we should take pictures too.
So finally, yeah, it's down Nogales, so yeah, we just...
Okay, and I'd like to point out the big, giant, wide, beautiful shoulders to see that.
And smooth, American quality.
It's just kind of boring, you know, there's no adventure in that. So we started visiting schools for the blind again in Tucson. This is in Tucson, the Arizona School for the Deaf and Blind. Talked to them, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then we connected with other, like the Southern Arizona Association for the Vision Impaired, which they have an office here, which we were visiting today actually, and kind of talked to the folks there about our project, and they had a bunch of questions, you know, so it was cool today because we brought the bike and they were able to, like, you know, check it out, so that was pretty neat.
This is talking to that organization. The abbreviation is SAVVY, and it's like vocational rehabilitation. So these are all adults between like 18 to 50 or so, more or less, and they're learning life skills like, you know, how to cook without burning down the house, and how to get a job, and just all kinds of things. Actually, there's a gym there, so they're going to work out.
Because there are the folks there like me, you know, who used to have good vision, and then either from disease or a car accident or whatever, start losing vision. So the adjustment period, you know, learning how to now navigate through a computer without being able to see it. So you have all the computer software system that helps you with that, and you know, having to kind of like learn how to cook or cut really, because you know you can't see what you're doing anymore. Then onward. You know, Phoenix 94 miles, it was like, go, just go, just go, just go, just go. Let's go home. And went by Cacho Peak there, so that was pretty cool. Those are really cool, we love them, and people love them too. But when we do this, it's a whole ordeal.
It takes a lot. We have to set up the tripod, then we have to run back, make the film, and then relocate where we put that tripod.
And so it looks like we're like really just hauling, you know, like going fast by there and stuff, but we're probably going like 1 or 2 miles an hour. Because as we're going by, the camera's
I'm supposed to share all the secrets.
We'll have to Photoshop in some, like, you know, things flying by or something.
This is pretty much from here, the route north that we're going to take, more or less. There's still some question in this general area, but from here we're going to go through to Las Vegas and Reno, and then over towards Portland, Oregon. We're going to do an event sort of like this up there to raise, I think they have a similar organization actually taking people into the outdoors. And then up towards Seattle and Vancouver, we're hoping to take a ferry then over to Prince Rupert, up through the Yukon and Fairbanks and the Arctic.
And we have to get to the Dead Horse Alaska, the part there, by like end of July, because starting in August, starting the second half of August, you see how the temperature drops down dramatically, and so we don't want to get stuck out there.
It's August and you're looking at 30s, so I don't.
Because from Fairbanks, which is the last part of civilization, up to Dead Horse is like almost 600 miles of nothingness. And so if we get stuck out there and the snow starts coming,
we won't.
We just won't. So you may ask, like, how are you taking it? How are you paying for this and stuff? Because it always comes up. You know, how are you funding this? For the most part, we do have some like folks who donate to us directly, which is great. Thank you very much. But we also, you know, we kind of planned this ahead of time too, to have some savings in order to use that to make this happen. You know, we were budgeting about $700 a month for both of us for like food and like the basic things. And to date, we still are keeping on to roughly like about $700 a month on that.
So like this 402, this was in Argentina where we actually got to stay in a lot of homestays, which was really great. That was awesome actually.
And it started speaking up here a little more because we were staying in hotels, and hotels there were like, you know, $7 to $12 a night, which is great. But what happens is that we'll go to the store and buy like big bags of potato chips
Some of us
and
will.
cookies. Camping in a remote place, you can't go to the store and buy beer or buy.
It's crazy. So Argentina are the more Argentina and Chile, they're the more expensive countries, and like we're keeping it in, and then we hit like Bolivia and Peru,
Boom.
which should have been a really cheap country, and that's because we're like, oh, it's a cheap country, let's just buy it.
So you see, most of the expense comes down to food stuff, and this is from like, you know, from the beginning to here, so we still have another 6 months to go and stuff. But so far we're on track, you know, what we're budgeting.
Oh, this is River of Dreams, so we're just talking again about why we're here. So, yeah, this is
that the last one?
Yeah.
Let's go back.